Anyway, when I was running today, the reason it kind of started was I was doing my workout, and a song came on by Carrie Job that is called I Am Not Alone. And I'm sorry if I get choked up. This is going to be a hard one. That song really got to me when I was running, which is funny because I'm not really a crier. But it really took me down, and it kind of came over me, and as I'm running, and I kept working through it, obviously trying to breathe through it. As I was running, I was, listening to the words of that song and thinking, I'm definitely not alone now, but when was a time that I was the most alone, and how did I get through that? And I feel like that's super important to share with you guys, because I know there's lots of people out there that are alone. I'm so sorry for getting so choked up. But one of the times 9 years ago, I'll never forget it. It was the fall of 2012, and I found myself pregnant and very alone. I was pregnant with Lola unexpectedly. I was not dating her father. I wasn't even in any kind of relationship with her father, and I was super lost. It was the most alone I've ever been, probably in my whole life. And I remember deciding to go to Cross Timbers Church, which is my church family in Argyle. And which is funny, because if any of y'all have ever been to Cross Timbers, one of their mottos is "Come as you are, welcome home," yada yada. But at the time, I didn't really take importance to that. But I decided I don't know where else to go. My family's mad at me. I'm mad at me. I'm pregnant. I'm 28. I've got nothing going for me. And I decided to go to church to this evening women's seminar, thinking, well, this is probably a good start. And where the story gets good is when I went in there, I found a spot. I wanted to go by myself because I felt so much shame. But then when I got in there, I felt even more shame, because I was standing there pregnant, alone, obviously not with the husband, not with anybody, and I'm standing in the middle of a church. And it was the most alone I've ever been. And after about 5 or 10 minutes of standing there listening to the opening music, my mom and my stepmom, who's married to my father now, both of those ladies walked into that church and stood on each side of me. And I have never been more overcome with grace. 2 women that I look up to so very much came and stood next to me, proud to be my mom, proud to be my stepmom, and showed me so much grace, and put their arms around me and stood there with me for the next 2 hours while we listened to a women's seminar. So again, I'm sorry I'm so emotional, but this is really powerful for me. So my whole word for this year is just grace and growth. And you really can't grow until you learn grace. And people do bad things all the time, and people do bad things to us, and we do bad things to ourselves. And when someone truly shows you grace, that's when you grow. And I remember standing there in that moment thinking, this is the exact kind of mom I want to be for my child, and this is the exact kind of person I want to be. My mom and my stepmom came together as one. They loved me exactly where I was at. Both of them, I'm sure, highly disappointed in my life choices, but they both loved me exactly where I was at, and they showed me so much grace for my situation that I was in at the time, pregnant, alone, standing in a church. Thank God I love my church at Cross Timbers, because they show you a lot of grace. But it was just the perfect example of love and compassion and lack of judgment. And I think we're missing that so much now in this world, with our friends, with our families. And, it just really hit me difficult today. So I hope to get to tell you guys more of my story throughout 2021. Lola's father and I, we never really dated after I was pregnant with Lola. We both have worked extremely hard. Him and I both have worked hard through counseling, through co-parent counseling, through counseling together, through lots of grace and compassion, to both learn to love each other as co-parents where we are, to love Lola as co-parents, to make decisions in a place of grace at all times. I know that he can vouch for that, and both of our families can vouch for that. It is exactly why we have a healthy, happy child, is because of showing each other grace, and both him and I have grown through that as I grew through that experience in my life. I am a true product of brokenness. I come from a divorced family. I come from an abuse family. I come from alcohol abuse family. I come from all the things, all the checklist. And you know, I really don't like it when people say people can't change, because I don't believe that. I have watched myself change. I have watched my father change. I have watched my mother change. I've watched my siblings change. I have watched my husband change. I have watched people in my life that I thought, holy hell, God cannot save these people, and they have changed. So I'm real emotional about this subject, because I don't think people change unless you show them grace. I don't think people change unless you love them where they are. Everybody's on a different timeline. And, you know, I really hope that the treacherous story of my life prior to now will help people throughout this year, because something God has prompted on my heart was just to share little tidbits of the story. And obviously I'm not very glamorous on camera, so I told myself I would do 5 or 10 minutes when God prompts me, and today was one of those days, because, you know, that Carrie Job song, I Am Not Alone, really hit me hard and made me sad to think about people being alone, and being alone in their life choices, and being alone in a place. And, you know, for me, that day in 2012 was the most alone I've ever been in my life. Pregnant with Lola, standing in the middle of a church, not knowing what the hell I was going to do. My dad's mad, my mom's mad, I'm mad, all those things. And in walks my mother and my stepmom to hold me and show me grace. And it was one of the bigger growing moments in my life. So, you know, I believe people can change. I believe they can change through grace and growth. And I believe everybody deserves forgiveness. And it's just so important. And, you know, I can't stress enough counseling and prayer and church. And I am super blessed to be involved with a church family in Argyle, Cross Timbers Church, and Toby Slough, who the pastor there, who is been a huge pillar in my life. His messages are very strong, but more importantly, the healing center there is where I spent about 7 years of my life in counseling. And I went every single week for 7 years. And I used to be ashamed to say that. I used to be ashamed to say I've got to go to a counseling appointment or a therapy appointment, but I'm the person I am today because of that. I'm the person I am today because my father pushed me to get counseling and be better and fix yourself. And if everybody in this world would just mind their business and fix themselves through God and grace and counseling and reading and all of those things, this place would be a better world. And I hope that my story can impact some of you on that. You know, I can't stress the importance of it enough. So anyhow, I hope my story helps some of you. The Carrie Job song is super powerful. If you are in a lonely spot, I would love to hear your story, and I would love to chat with you or schedule a FaceTime call or something. I promise you there is nothing that you are going to say that I haven't done. I check all the things when someone asks me about any of the dysfunction in my family and growing up. I check all the things, but I am surrounded by a family that has shown nothing but grace, from my grandmother down to, you know, my siblings and my own children. So hope you guys have a great day. Sorry for getting super emotional. This is one of our grace and growth series. So message me if you need any help. I'd love to get you plugged into some books, or again, just listen if that's what you need. So love you guys. Have a great day.